So when I'm restoring a grill, I'm typically doing it to resell it. So I will do extra things so that I'm almost getting the grill to its new condition. Whereas if you're just restoring a grill at home, you may not have to take these extra steps. But what I'll do is, if I'm going to be restoring this to sell it, I'll end up getting rid of all this seasoning that's inside here. Just because I'm making the grill look pretty much factory fresh. When you're doing it at home, you wouldn't have to do that. You just have to kind of give this a cleaning. This is not bad. It's seasoning, it's flavor. So you don't have to do all the crazy things that I do. So if I was going to be restoring this to sell it, I would spray all this with oven cleaner, let it sit for a couple hours in the sun, and clean this out, and then hit it with a wire wheel inside, so that this would look brand new. If you're doing it just to give your grill its, once a year really deep cleaning, you wouldn't need to do all those steps. So what we'll do on this looks like it's in pretty good shape, so we'll just clean this up instead of painting this. This, we just talked about this. Someone put these spacers on in the inside as opposed to the outside. It's not going to help at all. We'll move those back to their proper position. We'll freshen up this burner tube. We'll clean the inside here.
Why do you think it has this sort of white color on the inside?
I think this white color inside comes from being in a coastal area or someplace that's very dry. At least that's in my experience, where it gets kind of just like this crusty thing. They're actually easier to clean and restore when they're like this, as opposed to being all greasy. When they're all greasy, you got to scrape it down and then spray it with oven cleaner, then go back and hit it with a wire cut brush on a drill, and it's a lot more involved. So this should clean up pretty well. All right, so you want to keep all of the original parts if you can. Sometimes these little cotter pins get gummy and get kind of crusty sometimes, but we'll show you later on how you can clean those up if you want to save them. If not, you can just get them at any hardware store. They're cheap. These are the split grates, cast iron enamel. So a lot of times when I buy these grills used, they say that the burner tube needs to be replaced. More often than not, it just needs to be cleaned. So we're going to clean this. First step is just take this off. Sometimes there's a screw in here. If not, there's a nut and a bolt and a washer that are on some of the other ones. And this just comes out. You don't have to unscrew anything. It just pulls right out. That's how that comes out. Alright, we're going to start cleaning the cook box. I bought a plastic scraper. I said that that's better than using the metal ones. I don't know if that's true, but we're going to do that. Just be careful when you're doing this. If there's a lot of crud on here, you may not see that there's a little stamp inside here. This is all cast aluminum, so if your scrapers keeps getting caught on something, it's probably just the stamp that they have in the bowl. So I'm going to get a wire cut brush to do the inside of this. When these are new, these will cut you and you will bleed. I know that from personal experience, so just be careful when you do this. Alright, so I'm just going to remove these side tables. There are some bolts over here. Some of them have like a weird star-like hex thing, so you may have to get one of those. If some of the newer ones have just big Phillips head things. The legs just pop right out like that. when you're doing this, make sure you leave your drip tray underneath when you're scraping it and when you're doing any of this stuff. This way you can just empty out the drip tray. I've had some grills that had literally 1 inch to 2 inches worth of crud on the bottom where I've emptied this drip tray 4 or 5 times.
So what are we doing now?
So a lot of times when I get these grills, people say that the grates need to be replaced. A lot of times they just need to be cleaned. So you can do this in your queue. Just put them on the queue and fire up the grill, put it on high, leave it on there for 30 minutes. I have this older Genesis, and I use this basically just for cleaning my grates. So throw these on here. Take the flavorizer bars out if you use those, because those will get warped with the continuous really high heat. So, any luck, this is going to start right up for us. Throw all 3 burners on. Again, take the flavorizer bars out. So I leave this on for 30 minutes, and what will happen is that most, if not all, of the food, leaves, debris, anything that was on there is going to get cooked off. You just scrape it off after 30 minutes with a scraper. Alright, so this thing here is called a torch tip cleaner. And you can use a paper clip, sometimes a pin or something. I was just doing so many of these and someone said get a torch tip cleaner. So I did that. It's about $5 on Amazon. And I punch every hole that's in this burner tube. And it gets all the carbon on any other food that's been stuck in there. So this is just some warm water and Dawn dish soap. Scrub this. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to clean these grates. So these are welding gloves. If you don't have welding gloves, get an oven mitts or something that's going to be able to withstand this heat. Let's open that up. You see a lot of this stuff has cooked off. That's what this gray stuff is. It's just the food and everything else, the grease turning to ash. So I use one of these old school scrapers. Some people don't like using these because these bristles fall off and they get stuck in people's throats and you hear all kinds of horror stories. If you're just careful with it, they're fine to use. So you just scrape this.
And how long were these grates on the grill for?
These were on the grates for half an hour. So these grills get up to about 600 degrees. You can see how much cleaner they are already. Use these gloves. Flip it over. Start the timer again for 30 minutes.
Keep on grilling.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinstall the burner tube so that I can hit it with that wire cut brush again so it doesn't move around. I'm just going to flip it over so I can get the other side. There isn't really a way you can... So another thing I always do is any of the screws, the leg bolts, any of that kind of stuff, when you take them out, get a pair of vice grips like this thing here, but just be careful because if this skips, it can cut you. Just clean them.
Well, that thing is definitely looking shiny.
Yep, it's
looks great.
Almost factory fresh.
That's pretty easy.
Yep. All right.
Now it's time for the legs.
Time for the legs and the handles.